Welcome back to the Five. I like it. Well, yesterday we talked about the new subpoena issued to Attorney General Eric Holder over Fast and Furious. And now the voices calling for his resignation and the voices in Eric Bolling's head over this Bob's Guns program, they're getting louder. All right, Dan, I'm going to come to you on this. Okay. This is not getting better for Eric Holder. A lot of people saying that he should step down based on so far the evidence has been presented.
So I have some familiarity with members of Congress on the Democratic side demanding the members of President Bush's cabinet resign over much smaller matters.
Yes.
And so I think that some of them who now are crying foul, or they should maybe just take a step back, because this is quite serious. The allegation is that Eric Holder lied to the Congress and therefore to the American people. It wouldn't surprise me if at the end of this, in a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, he decides that it's time to spend more time with his family and to move on to other opportunities.
I always love it when people do that. That never means they can't stand their family. They like to work, right, but they always say, I've got to spend more time with my family.
And the company that usually fires him, if it's a company, we wish him well.
Yeah.
How about the wives that stand next to their husbands that cheat, who are politicians? They stand up there and say, I forgive. Yeah, they want to do a Lorena Bobbitt is what they want to do.
Okay, thanks for that interesting but bizarre segue, Bob. Yeah.
Again, I spent some time this morning talking about this with a group of 25 congressmen, and here's the issue that they kept saying. Someone had to know. Someone at Justice had to know, and it had to be either, Eric Holder, Justice, or Hillary Clinton at Secretary of State, because the guns crossed crossed the border.
Right.
If you weren't talking about another country, then maybe it could have been done on a more local basis. Once you bring in another country, someone high up has to be aware, at least aware of it, and Holder's denied awareness of any of it.
Okay, that's his allegation.
What's your conspiracy theory? I want to hear that one.
That once a border agent was killed, the other part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
A border agent gets killed, Holder says, I have no idea what's going on. My conspiracy theory is Darrell Issa, who's investigating Holder,
right,
who subpoenaed Holder this week, on Sunday said, I'm going to subpoena Holder this week, and on Monday, somehow mysteriously we break up we thwart this major terror attack plot from the Iranians.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
And Eric Holder's on the podium saying, look at how great we are.
You should have a graphic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
You save a life and then you lose your mind.
Right, that's what happens. No good deed goes unpunished. Yes, Bobby.
If Eric Holder was under oath, as I understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if, in fact, they can prove that he lied, there is serious trouble for him. I do not believe they can prove he lied. You know what I think about Issa. I'll let that go. But I think that if Eric Holder, if there's proof positive that he lied, then he's in serious trouble. I think that's right.
Okay.
But I don't think they have the proof yet.
All right, well, here's something that's interesting. We actually have a bit of sound from Greta last night. Issa talking about Holder and whether or not he thinks he's outright lying, or is he kind of trying to dodge the ball on this one. Take a listen.
I believe that the Attorney General was dodging at best. Lying, perhaps, but more likely dodging. He certainly knew Fast and Furious. He should have said, I have known about Fast and Furious for months or a year. His answer was only a few weeks ago. That did not meet the legitimate test of a top law enforcement officer who was sworn to give us the whole truth.
All right, so depending on how you look at it, but now Holder has come out and strongly repudiated the charges, the way that this has been handled, the way he's being investigated, and the allegations against him. He's saying, look, this is a misunderstanding. I thought they were referring to a different investigation that was going on, which was basically the program called Wide Receiver that was happening out of Tucson. However, that's not mentioned anywhere in those emails, Eric, at all. Only Fast and Furious and Gunwalker is.
I'm sorry, we'll get to you in a second. The Wide Receiver
We've been through this
was correct me if I'm wrong, Dana, it was under George Bush, but at that point, I'm guessing your Secretary of State and or Attorney General would have known about it.
Can I just point out one simple thing? We keep saying a lot of people are calling for his resignation. It doesn't mean anything if those people are on the other side. It isn't until one person who is a Democrat. Weiner could have kept his job forever if it wasn't until the Democrats say something. And so he's fine until that happens.
Can I just make one point? We have gone over this and over this.
Okay, you want to move on?
Yes,
I'm going to now we're going to go in our legal roundup. We've got two interesting stories here, and both involve drug testing. One is Lynn State Technical College wants to drug test for admissions, have the students that want to apply there go through a drug testing process. Curious what you think about that, Bob.
I think it's absolutely absurd. And the idea that you would take somebody's civil liberties and do a drug test on them, just because I couldn't have passed when I went into college has nothing to do with it. The point is that you can't take kids and randomly test them to get into college or force them to be tested, it is a violation of their constitutional rights.
Can I point out that this isn't about rights, this is about limbs? Most of the training programs at this school have to do with dealing with heavy equipment and machinery, caustic chemicals. If you show up there high, you're going to lose a digit, you're going to lose a finger. How are you going to smoke a joint without your hand? So this is actually helpful to the drug addicts.
You're
How did you get
practical.
through all your jobs?
All right, here, Mr. Drug Expert, how about this one? Mandatory drug testing for welfare. This is something we've talked about, but this
now you're talking.
Florida enrollment actually is down to its lowest level in years because guess what? People don't want to pay the fee and don't want to get tested and then come up dirty and then lose their benefits.
Then if that's the case, let's test everybody who gets Social Security before they get it. If they have drug problems, they don't get Social Security. Everybody on Medicare, if they have drug problems, don't get Social Security. Anybody on any of the government problems, programs, they have to get tested, including all those rich guys.
Let's see if Granny and Grandpa are high on methamphetamine before we give them their Medicare.
Well, if you're asking that for welfare, what's the difference between welfare people and older people?
Well, Bob, it's being constitutionally challenged, saying it's an unreasonable search and seizure, violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. But if you're going to receive benefits like housing and welfare, etc.,
but are you against?
You can get preconditions.
I'm just curious because when you work for I don't know if you had to, but when I worked for the government, I had to go through get a drug test in order to be able to work for the government. Are you against that too? Right. But are you against that?
Who did you pay?
I didn't pay. I simply admitted it. And I got. They're not trying to. They're drug test you, throw you out. They just want to know if you're telling the truth.
Right.
I'm telling the truth.
So can a private company drug test?
I think. Look, in the case of maybe I could see this, maybe in heavy equipment operations, but in all other schools, say bachelor, this is a slippery slope. Where does it stop? And the point about people,
private companies, Bob.
What?
Can a private company drug test you before they hire you?
I similarly can, sure.
I mean, you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with the state testing somebody who's on welfare.
Okay, well, you're in good company because the ACLU wants to give you a big hug, Bob, because they agree with you.
The ACLU that's kept this Constitution alive and well for all of you.
That's debatable and another block. All right, but we're turning now, turn with us, will you, to 2012 news. Next on the 5, and after Tuesday's debate, many are saying that Romney is the inevitable candidate. But some new polls are saying something different. We'll be right back. Stay there.
Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day.